Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. Now I know that it has been a little while since I've posted, but we are back. Uh, but anyway, basically Home Depot's manager meeting just happened recently, a couple days ago now. And I figured I'd go ahead and make a list of all the props that came out. Just because there's some pretty great ones here in the lineup. I think this is probably Home Depot's best lineup they've ever done. But essentially, big shout out to LMJ Hans. He's basically supplying all the footage here, since technically they haven't officially gotten their demos out, but I couldn't wait, and I figured we might as well just get a tier list done here. So starting off the list with Tiffany from Bride of Chucky. Right off the bat, this is going in S tier. She has that amazing movement that the Chucky last year had. And I think she has some additional arm movement. It might be servo in the arms. But a thing with this Tiffany and Chucky this year is that they don't have the smiling movement anymore. Which I'm fine with. I think it was cool, but I don't think they really needed it, honestly. But yeah, she looks straight out of the movie, and I guess while we're at it, we might as well rank Chucky too. I think I might like him slightly better, just because it's Chucky, but he has the scarred up look now, and he just looks great. I think I might like this one a bit better than last year's, but yeah, the whole line from these two props and last year's Chucky is just great, and they didn't really miss on these. They look straight out of the movie, and they're really detailed. Next up, we have the Gravedigger. Now, at first, when I saw some photos of him, I didn't necessarily really care for him all that much. I thought he was just all right, just another Gravedigger. And then we got some photos of him in the front, and I thought his face looked pretty cool. But with his motion and stuff, it's actually pretty unique. Basically, there's a little skeleton head under his foot that pops up, and he has mouth movement. I kind of wished maybe he had head turning movement, but it's fine. This is definitely the best grave digger, grave robber, whatever he is prop probably we've ever gotten. Just a really unique concept, and even his appearance is super cool looking. So I'll probably put him high A tier. I think that's a good spot for him. Next up, we have the new Murderous Maple. I don't really know what it's called, but basically it's just a sad version of Murderous Maple. I think the one last year was a bit better with the grinning face, but I think this tree would look cool if you had him right next to Murderous Maple. But on its own, I think I'd rather get the Murderous Maple tree just because it's more classic looking, but I think it's still great. I don't know if you can change the color of it or not, but if you can, that'd be cool. I'll put them in like B tier for now. That could change, but I think B tier is a good spot for it. And next up, we have the zombie stack. I see these guys getting a good amount of hate. I think they're all right. They're just a fine filler prop. I don't really care for the stacking props, but I think they're definitely better than the clowns. I think the detail on their face is actually not too bad, but their audio's kind of a bit corny, and just kind of the whole concept of them, I guess, isn't the greatest. I'll put them in C tier, I suppose. They're alright. Definitely not the best of the lineup, but I could see its audience for them, but personally they're not for me. Next up, we have the giant troll ogre, or I don't even know what he is, but he's great. I think he's made by Pan Asian. And yeah, he's pretty good. I think he's probably the best Pan Asian prop we've gotten maybe ever, honestly. The detail on him's phenomenal. His eyes changing colors, his eyes changing colors are kind of cool. Too, and just his overall movement. He's a carnival Carl reskin, and I think he did a better job personally. I think Carnival Carl, the only thing he had going for him was kind of his concept and size. His face was a bit derpy, but he's really cool. I'm gonna put him probably either high A tier or low S tier. I'll put him low S tier for now, but yeah, he's a really solid prop. And next up we have probably the greatest of the year, the 15-foot scarecrow. Objectively, maybe the best giant. I think him and the levitating reaper are my favorite. I'll put him probably the top of S tier. He's a really solid prop. I love the detail on him. I think he's so much better than the Lowe's 12-foot scarecrow. It's not even close in my opinion. And yeah, just the vibe of him's great. We actually didn't get a full demo of him because he wasn't on during the manager meeting for some reason. But I'm pretty sure he just has head movement and maybe some audio. I also don't know if he's like the Levitating Reaper, where you can change his RGB colors. That'd be cool if you could, but I don't. That doesn't really affect his ranking either way. Fantastic prop. Even if he was just a static, he'd be an S tier. He's such a great prop, and yeah, he's really well done. And also, I should probably say, notice how there's no F tier, because I don't think there's any horrendously bad props this year at Home Depot. There's some questionable ones still, like every Halloween lineup, but I don't think there's any like awful F tier level ones. Speaking of questionable props, we have the witch duo. If these guys like never, or if these guys were released like 10 years ago, they'd probably be higher, but we've just seen so many of the witch duos with the cauldron. It's getting a bit repetitive now, so I think they belong in D tier. Also, their motion's not even that good. When I first saw pictures of them, I thought maybe they could be servo, and okay, that can make them a bit better. And they don't even really spin the cauldron. They just kind of like push it up and down their stick, which is kind of weird. And then they just have mouth movement, so they're pretty unimpressive. Their detail's fine, but we've just seen the same idea over and over again in the retail market. It's becoming a bit ridiculous. However, I think this next prop kind of saves that. We have the evil snowman, and this guy is really great. I'm going to put him above the troll ogre guy. He's just a fantastic concept, fantastic in execution. Just his blow molded hands and his body, they all look great. His detail's great. And he's a really solid, creepy Christmas prop, I think. It's kind of like a jack-o'-lantern snowman. Kind of a niche concept. A lot of these props are actually really niche, like the snowman, the troll, and some other props we'll get onto later. But I kind of like that because, you know, they're just so unique. And I also like how there's not a lot of clowns this year. I'm not the biggest clown lover. I think they're fine. But it's just nice to see really unique characters throughout all this lineup. That's probably my favorite part, honestly. And next up, we have the pumpkin top hat guy. I'll put him in C tier, I guess. Maybe even D tier. Apparently, his mouth might move, and it was broken. But even then, he's a fine budget prop. I understand that's what he's going for. So I'll probably keep him in C, just because he is a budget prop. And unlike the duo witch in D tier, where they're actually, you know, not a budget prop, because they're two pieces. But I think he's fine. He's made by Pan Asian. His hair is kind of weird. I don't know why they went with that. I do like his top hat though. I think that's kind of funny. Okay, next up we have the kind of purple lethal lily witch of this year. I'm gonna put her in A tier, right behind the Gravedigger guy. I think she's really well done. Once again, I love her servo neck. I love her servo arms. And even her broom kind of has like a fire and ice light in it, I think. I think the witch is pretty great. I kind of wish she had like the Lethal Lily eyes, because I still think Lethal Lily's a bit better. I definitely think her as a character is a lot well done, but I love the blinking servo eyes. Those are just great. But honestly, even though I'm pretty critical of LCD eyes, I think they're pretty well done on her, just because her face is kind of in the dark and it doesn't really stand out too much. But I think she's overall really well done witch, even though I'm not the biggest witch fan. Really, really solid prop. Next up, we have this weird Tricycle doll girl. I'll put her in low C. maybe even D tier. I'm not sure. Just because we haven't even seen any videos of her, but it's kind of obvious what she's gonna do. She's a budget prop, though. I understand her audience, but yeah, she's all right. And next up, we have the Bride of Frankenstein. Now, I'm kind of torn on this one. I definitely think the Frankenstein last year was better. And I feel like you'd really only get her if you had Frank from last year. She has light up eyes, which is interesting. I think that's fine. I don't really mind light up eyes. But I'm thinking either high B tier or low A tier for this one. She kind of has servo eyes and blinking, so maybe just for that, low A tier. Some people might get mad at me for that. I know she's not the favorite of the year, but I think she's fine. You definitely wouldn't get her without Frankenstein, though. That was kind of the Emily and Victor problem last year at Spirit, where you really wouldn't get one without the other. But yeah, I think she's really just there to make Frankenstein stand out more, because I think he was definitely more well done. Not to say she's bad or anything, but Frankenstein was just a really hard prop to beat. Next up, we have the Barber guy. I'll put him in D tier above the Witch Duo. When I first saw this guy, I thought he could be kind of cool, but he's just a soul slasher reskin, and I don't know. It doesn't really make sense for him. I don't know why he doesn't have any more movements than that. He's kind of supposed to go into the like Dean the Deathologist, Jack of Spades line, but I think those props were done a lot better compared to this guy. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he had a lot of potential, but it just kind of fell flat on this one. Yeah, he's not the greatest. I'll probably move the Tricycle doll also to D tier, just because, I don't know. She's nothing crazy. We've seen her before at Spirit, so yeah, she's fine. Next up, we have the Halloween cat. I actually enjoy this guy kind of a lot. I think he's better than the dog. I like his pose, and I like his light up eyes, so I'll put him in B tier, below the Murderous Maple remake. And here we also have another one that grates this year, the Shark. Even though he's sadly static, I guess if he was an animatronic, I don't know what he would do. This is probably one of the best retail statics ever. Maybe he's so great. I'll put him right after the evil snowman. Really fantastic prop, really well done, and he looks absolutely humongous in person too. People are saying like he could be 7 to 9 feet tall, which is absolutely absurd. So I think this guy's definitely gonna be a lot cooler in person than even on video. I do think he probably should have had just full out black eyes, but I guess you could do that pretty easily. And yeah, this guy's pretty fantastic overall. Next up, we have the Leprechaun, and kind of a theme Home Depot did this year, which I think was really cool and unique, was kind of an evil holiday line where they had the snowman and the leprechaun and some other props coming up. I don't think he's quite as good as the snowman. I'll probably put him in A tier, just because he's probably the most niche out of all of them. It'd be really hard to find a theme for this guy. And I think his face is a bit odd, but overall the concept's fantastic for him. I think his motion's also pretty solid. I don't really know what else he would do, but even like his costume looks really spot on, and it's a really unique idea. I still think this guy might be a bit bigger in person. I think his head's going to be absolutely massive. Okay, next up we have the evil fisherman kind of guy. I'm just going to put him in C tier. He's fine. Fine background piece. I don't know why his eyes light up red. If I did ever get this guy, I would definitely turn his light up eyes off, because that just looks weird and it lights up his whole head. Kind of the same thing with the Barber. I don't know why he has the light up eyes, but anyway, he's fine. He's a remake of the Fisherman we got 2 years ago, I think. And they're both kind of fine. I don't really prefer one over another. But cool kind of nautical piece. He definitely looked cool next to the shark, I think. But next up we have the Reaper Scroll guy. who I think is also made by Pack. He's definitely the best budget prop of the year, I think, or definitely one of them. I'll probably put him high B tier. He's pretty solid. I like the concept of the scroll. I don't really know what he does with his hand. I think that motion's a little bit awkward. He has a classic bobblehead kind of mouth movement. But if this guy's truly like in the $100 range, like that's definitely a great deal because I think he's a really solid deal for what you're getting. And next up we have the pirate ship. Now I'm gonna put this guy in low A tier. Probably one of the best environment pieces. Just to kind of build out a nautical scene. I think he's great for that. I'm really glad he's returning from years past. And yeah, overall, he's a fantastic prop. Next up, we kind of have the Raven Plague Doctor, which is almost a remake of the Plague Doctor we got. Next up, we have the Raven Plague Doctor, which is almost a remake of the Plague Doctor we got last year. I do prefer the Plague Doctor we got last year over this guy. But I think he's cool. I think they're definitely different vibes. This one's kind of like a Raven Plague Doctor. For that one was probably more like a humanoid. Both their phrases, the one last year and this one, are fine. They're kind of cheesy, but whatever. I'll put him in low A tier. He's pretty solid prop. And yeah, I'm glad that he didn't have that LCD wiring that the Plague Doctor last year had. I just don't think that really fit him necessarily. And I think the Party City Neon Ice Cream Clown worked really well with the LED wire. But I still don't know why they gave him that. That was just a weird choice. And next up we have the Pig Butcher kind of guy. I'm kind of wondering if I should put him in B tier, A tier. I'll probably put him in high B tier for now. I think he's a pretty solid prop. Another Soul Slasher reskin. I don't know why they have so much this year. I think there's 3, if you count the Reaper guy who kind of has that motion, which is kind of funny. I never found his movement amazing, but as I said, we haven't really got the prices yet. So if he's a really good price, that could bump him up to A tier, but he's kind of like a spiritual successor to Spirit Halloween's 2020, the Butcher. Who I think was a fantastic prop. I kind of like them both equally, and yeah, they're both pretty solid props. I might have lied about the 15-foot Scarecrow because this skeleton might be the best retail prop maybe ever. This skeleton is definitely the most innovative retail Halloween animatronic we've ever gotten, and honestly, he just blows Grim out of the water. And he just exceeds what is actually possible with retail Halloween animatronics. If you don't know what this guy does, basically he's completely Bluetooth controlled. So you can control his movements with Bluetooth. You can control his lights. You can do your own phrases. You can control his eyes. And even if you don't want to do that, I think there is some presets where you can have his scary voice on default, and he might even have preset movements, but he's literally a blank slate for custom animatronic. And if people are really into that, like, this might just be the best retail prop because you can do literally anything you want with it. While this is a both subjective and objective list, I think I gotta throw in my subjective takes in, and I think the evil Easter Bunny guy is probably my favorite of the Home Depot lineup. And technically we haven't even seen his demo yet, because for some reason he was off during the manager meeting. I'm not sure why, but he could be a static. I kind of doubt it because I don't know. Home Depot doesn't do that much statics, especially like life-size characters like this. And to be fair, his phrases could be really bad. I kind of hope they're not, but I think some people are theorizing that he's going to have the snarling, kind of like the Fear Valley Wolf, which was one of my favorite props of last year. And yeah, I'm just really excited for this guy. I think it's such a cool concept. The whole Twisted Holiday theme just worked really well for Home Depot this year. And I think he's probably my favorite. Is he objectively the best? No, definitely not. Objectively, it's probably got to be the Bluetooth skeleton or the 15-foot scarecrow, but I just love this guy so much, and I'm really excited to see the demo for him. And arguably another S tier prop, we have the Jack in the Box clown. This guy's such a unique jump scare. I think it's really well done. Apparently, he also has light up eyes and mouth movement. Why it wasn't working during the manager meeting, I'm not sure. I don't know if that's a good or a bad sign that he's gonna be really faulty, but he's probably the best UV clown we've ever gotten. I think the whole concept and the character of him's really well done. Generally, I've not been the biggest fan of Home Depot clowns. I think there are a few good ones here and there, like the Jester and Teary, but even then, I think Spirit was always the king of doing clown animatronics. But this guy's, in my opinion, probably the best Home Depot clown. He's just really well done, and the jump scare is so unique. I genuinely don't think anyone would expect that, because they're all going to be focused on the Jack in the Box and waiting for that to come out, and then his whole head pops up. So I'm definitely gonna put this guy in S tier, probably slightly above the shark, but yeah, this guy's just fantastic. And finally, we have the skeleton crawler guy. Now, I know this guy is not very popular right now. I think a lot of people are disappointed, probably including myself a little. I don't mind that he's super slow. I just wish like he was a bit faster. I didn't need him to be like Mr. Dark speed. He didn't need to be like, he didn't need to go like super fast for a jump scare. Even if he was just like, I don't know, like 50 or 75% faster than what he is right now, I think that'd be a bit better. And you'd actually notice he's kind of moving. He's just a bit too slow. People are theorizing you might be able to adjust the speed. I think that could easily land him in S tier if you can customize him like that, if you can actually adjust his speed. But for now, I'll probably put him in low A tier. He's probably going to be a lot bigger in person too. I don't think people are taking that into account. But overall, I was a bit let down with him. I was hoping he'd be an S tier, where I feel like now he just got an A tier. But I think he's a really good background piece. I don't think he'd be in the forefront of a graveyard scene, but just kind of in the back to add some ambiance. I think he'd be really good for that. Alrighty, so while I was gone, I did some minor adjustments, nothing too major, but I decided to switch out the pumpkin and the fisherman guy, just because, I don't know, you get the rocking chair with the fisherman, and I think he's a pretty solid background piece. I did decide to move Bride of Frankenstein down to high B tier. I'm still kind of deciding if I want her in low A tier or high B tier, but it's really close. She's still a fantastic prop, but I think I have to put her slightly down. Also kind of for the fact that I don't think anyone would buy her without Frankenstein. You just kind of need Frankenstein for her to make her work, and even then, she's really only there to make Frank stand out even more, I think. But she's still a really solid prop, and it was still kind of a tough choice. I think I decided to switch the pirate ship and the Raven guy just because we have technically already seen the pirate ship before, even though I think he's really well done. And I don't think I really moved anything else, but I decided to make those changes. But overall, yeah, so this is my final Home Depot tier list ranking. Technically, we haven't even gotten the official demos yet, and we haven't seen everything in detail, like the Easter Bunny guy, the Scarecrow, or even like that Tricycle doll thing. But I think this is probably my list for now, and I haven't seen any of these in person yet, so that could certainly change stuff. But overall, I think this is probably Depot's best lineup ever, maybe, and probably one of the best lineups of all time. Genuinely, I think everything is really good this year, and even the kind of questionable ones I don't think are awful. Like they're not like horrendously bad. they're still passable, but the S tier and the A tier props are just like very, very solid. And I think Home Depot's definitely saved the year. Every other lineup was kind of bad. Lowe's was really bad. Morris Costumes is usually always not that good. Haunted Hill Farm got really expensive, and they kind of butchered Gruesome Granny. Although they still did return Convulsing Nurse and Coat Rack Monster, so I do appreciate them for that. And even Halloween costumes, it's getting better, but it's still not. I don't think it's still to the level that like Home Depot and Spirit is. So I'm really interested to see Spirit's lineup now, because that would really be the only other company that would probably make interesting stuff this year. But honestly, if I'm being honest, I think last year was a bit overrated. I think there were a good amount of stinkers in there. And I think the year before that, it was a bit of a letdown for the 40th. There's still a lot of good props there. But for like the 40th, it wasn't the best. So I really hope Spirit's like really good this year and can rival Home Depot, because this is one of the best lineups I've seen in a company for a long time. Really, anything post like 2018 or 2020, it's a really fantastic lineup. Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Once again, I am sorry for not posting for so long. Just been really busy recently. If you did, feel free to like, subscribe, share, and of course, goodbye everyone.